Welcome friends and my dear friends. Today we are going to have a discussion on the subject theory of machines. What is that? Theory of machines. This has the weightage of 4 to 6 marks, 4 to 6 marks in GATE examination, right? And it basically includes the topics called mechanisms. This may comes about 2 marks. Then we have what is called velocity and accelerations analysis. You may get 1 mark. The next topic what you have is gears, and this definitely you may having another 2 marks. And the last topic what you're going to have it here in this subject is the flywheel, right? So this flywheel may going to have 1 mark. Okay, besides this is comes under the category of theory of machines. Besides this, we have one more topic. This is very important, called vibrations. Called vibrations. So this you may get to the respect of 2 marks, right? So that's how the maximum may be of 6 marks and the minimum may be of 4 marks. Okay. So now let's go to the what you call about our discussion on the topic mechanisms, right? But what a mechanism means? What is a mechanism? A mechanism is network of rigid components. A network of, what is that? Network of rigid bodies. Network of rigid bodies. Network in the sense connectivity. Network means connectivity. Connectivity of rigid bodies. But how it should be connected? How it should be connected? The network of rigid bodies in such a way that in such a way that there exists a relative motion. Exist a relative motion, right? So why we require first of all a network of these rigid bodies? So what is rigid body? Rigid body. What is rigid body? First let's see what is a rigid body. What is a rigid body? Rigid body is nothing but negligible deformation. Negligible deformation when we apply the forces, right? When you apply the forces, if the deformation is comes to be negligible one, then we say it is a rigid body, right? So it must be of rigid body. In order to construct in a mechanism, we need to have the connectivity of rigid bodies. Okay, but why we need to have the connectivity of various rigid bodies? What is the need? So whenever you are going to have a rigid body, let's say like this, right? This may be rigid body, but once you apply a force on this, once you apply a force on this, what happens to this? Its equilibrium is disturbed and it will be put into motion. Put into motion, right? So this is what the body may move like this, right? The body is expected to displace to this position, right? So this is what we call rigid body motion. This is what we call as rigid body motion. Got it? But you may not interested in this type of motion when we are not interested. We are not interested in this kind of motion. This kind of this kind of motion, this kind of motion, then what to do? We may not require